Hey, greetings, YouTubers. Cameron McCasland here. Just wanted to do a video. I just saw Star Trek last night. Just kind of wanted to give some thoughts on that and kind of give a little bit of history because it kind of just sparked a whole lot of memories for me from kind of where I found Star Trek and things like that. Basically, when I was a kid, I had a great grandmother named Marie who I love so dearly, and she's gone. I also had three sisters, and my parents both worked for a living, so they would take us, and basically after school we would go to my great grandmother's, and we would stay there until sometime after dark before they would finally pick us up. Well, her being retired and things like that, she had two television sets, one in the living room where the cable box was, which was one of those old, you had to like click the dial over to get to the different stations. In the other bedroom there was like basically a pair of rabbit ears, like an old UHF VHF crank dial that you had to hit up. So in fighting for TV time with my sisters, and I would always get outvoted because they were watching whatever at the time came on after schools. Um, I would go to this other room, and one of the only things that would come in on that dial over the air was Star Trek. So I started watching it, and you know, I don't know, like, don't want to say I like instantly fell in love with it, but it was like something that I kind of kept going back to, and I kept going back to, and started enjoying it. Well, in the meantime, there was this video store, which was also like right around the corner, and they had all the movies. I still remember on the 49-cent rack for the old VHS. So like you would like save that milk money for the day or whatever else, and like rent a tape after school, go home and watch it, and that's how I saw all of those Star Trek movies. And I don't know, it was weird because I don't know what clicked with me, but it was kind of like, I think more than anything, because at the time there were probably 6 or 7 movies when I started watching them, and you would, it's like you saw the first one and I'd been watching the TV show. It's like, okay, well, I'm just going to watch all of them. So every couple of days, you would get this movie and watch it. And remember, like, I wouldn't always have time to watch the entire movie because, again, there was only one VCR. Same as with the cable box and everything. So, like, I would maybe get to watch like 40 minutes of the movie, and the next day pick up the rest of the movie, something like that. So, anyways, that's how I found it. The J.J. Abrams movie, which I saw, last night, I just loved it. Like, I had high hopes for it. I mean, I had read some reviews and I had seen some other things online talking about how good that it was, and I tend to believe there was a general consensus between like hardcore Star Trek fans as well as like just people who are movie fans that have no recollection of anything of the original Next Generation and so on. And they all seemingly just loved it. And I thought, okay, well, this has got to be okay. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, knowing that there have been more bad remakes than good remakes, and I'm not one of those people that hates on remakes. I think there's been a lot of great remakes, over the years. Scorsese alone doing Cape Fear and The Departed, I was like, wow, I'm so glad that he touched base on those. Not that the originals are bad either, but they can stand beside, um, those and go, okay, these are still good movies. But all that being said, like, this relaunch was just about everything I could have wanted out of it. They totally jumpstart the thing. I don't want to give too much away because it's opening weekend as of right now, and some of you probably still have not seen this movie, but, more than anything else, like, it was very loving. I mean, like, there was kind of a wink and a nod with some of the hardcore first lines, and from the show, like, Spock doing his thing, and Chekhov doing his thing, and I mean, I can't imagine how many takes they did trying to get that accent down. But all that said, I thought it was a great movie. I mean, the time travel piece, and again, if you haven't seen it, plug your ears right now. But they totally, and this is what everyone's saying. So if you've watched any other videos, like, you've already heard this, but them re-jumping the timeline and going, okay, we're going to give you these original characters, but we're going to restart it. That's a good way to go because, where like Nimoy and Shatner, everybody loves them, and I think, are very respectful of what they did before. It's a good time now to say, okay, we're going to start something new. We're going to start with a fresh cast, and we're going to keep the story going because, more than anything, I think the story is more important than the actors. And this is kind of, a good way to relaunch that. And I, hope they make more movies. I hope they can get, most of the people back for this. I think it would be a crying shame at this point if you couldn't do another movie. And hopefully it gets as good as this one is. So, high hopes and everything else. So I would love to hear, your thoughts on, Star Trek and where you found Star Trek. That YouTube's doing a pretty cool thing asking for, favorite episodes and things like that. And I really don't even know if I could pin one down and say this is my all-time favorite episode, because there's so much good there. But if you've got one, I'd love to hear it. Or if you've got any thoughts on where you found Star Trek for the first time, let me know below here, or post a video response, and I'll hear you out and we can talk about it. Anyways, check you later. Thanks so much.